You are now about to witness the awesome crushing might oh wait for it. Knuckle Up! Woo! Oh, I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy. My mind is moving too fast for me. Hey, welcome to Knuckle Up, friends. Notice anything different? Yeah, I've been dead for weeks. Stigmata. Calling it a just. Song's called Intro All of Nothing. It kicks off the show. I'm about to die. The food is coming back up. The neighbors are dead. Bled. Like ghosts, which is a Jack Kerouac line. Do of it much rhetorical 3rd Street, grasping a ragged road. We're going to start the show. We lost 2 viewers. That's okay. Oh, we just won. Let's kick it off with the words that say it all, then we're going to get into it. It's not for everybody. Guaranteed. But first, these words while I adjust stuff. I'm on my way back nowhere. I'm taking a real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. Being paid back in full always. Nothing. All right, my friends. I'm a little discombobulated, mostly on account of being one of the living dead. You know, that can really kind of fuck with your worldview just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Keeps me from getting cancer of the testes. And I know you care about my testes. To people who just got in, it's a whole show about testes. Testes, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, this is Knuckle Up number 291. I am your hostess with the mostest, Sardonicus. Eugene S, with the S standing for Sardonicus. That is my name. Blackula is my name. You know, anybody can wear shit like this. And I'm getting ready to take them out because they fuck with how I talk. Anybody can wear shit like this on Halloween. Uh-oh. Catch me in December when I'm wearing them. That'll be great. That'll be fantastical. No explanation, nothing. So anyway, this is round number 291, and I think I have to say immediately pre facto, a priori, that if you don't think the long arm, and this is not a continuation of last week specifically, it's not a part 3 of the trilogy, not quite yet, or variation of it. But if you don't think that, sorry, I got glue in my mouth, man, it's heavy. If you don't think that the long arm of WME is not going to touch you all, you are very specifically wrong. And by this I mean, for example, this is the 3rd show in a row that's not had a fight to refer to. And, you know, and I feel sad because I've got people who work at Bellator and work for Bellator, and they've been like, hey, I'm walking here. I'm not chopped liver. We've been fighting here. And I went through one of those cards. And one of the things I want to talk about today has to do with Fedor and Matt Mitrione. You know, and we got Mailbag, and I want to kick off with a partial mailbag because somebody came up with, and let's just go into it right now because it segues nicely to what I'm talking about. Came up with this thing called Lost in the Supermarket, and let's go through what it is. And he says we got to get past the Clinton Foundation stuff, and he said, here we go. Masturbation, get past that. Trump, masturbation. The mailbag is jam-packed. There's actually cool stuff in the mailbag. I just need to get to Lost in the Supermarket. All right, here we go. New category, Lost in the Supermarket. Lost in the Supermarket. They weren't born so much as they fell out. No one seemed to notice them. Guys that are good fighters and want to be big stars, but ultimately are promotional afterthoughts. He says, this is the D-man. He says, I was listening to The Clash when I was stuck in traffic. They were taken to the store, but got lost along the way, and no one cared to find them. I don't think you can say, for example, and he puts right off two people in that category, DC and DJ, Demetrius Johnson, Daniel Cormier. I don't think you can say DC is Lost Battalion, Phantom Tollbooth, Dark Star, or Major Tom. However, by all accounts, he's a good dude. Great ambassador for the sport, smart, well-spoken, has a gig as a TV guy, yet people still care more about gas station peanut. Sorry, I got to get this part right because you'll appreciate it. Yet people still care more about gas station penis pill-induced odyssey. Oh, sorry. Third time's the charm. People still care more about, because I'm editing what he's saying as we're going along because he's dropping stuff out. Yet people still care more about the gas station penis pill-induced odyssey of some guy that beat his ass 2 years ago. And this is laying on your back in a church and it hurts. Lost in the Supermarket, you know. That we'll just call them. Let's see, where are we? LITS, LITS. That's kind of an acronym, kind of sucky acronym, but it's better than Litsum. If you want to put an M in supermarket, who does that? Is it 2 words? Is it a compound word? Who knows? Anyway, you got what he means, and I am willing to tip the hat and acknowledge this as a new and bona fide category because in the schema with these constantly shifting seas, you know, the smart guys are going to be the guys who get it. And you know who those guys are right now? Those guys are top 10 guys whose mouths are fucking shut. Because right now the setup is thus. You either, and I've had this talk. Listen, I live and work. I have lived and worked. I've lived and then subsequently lived and worked in Silicon Valley since 1980, right? First in the defense industry, then in the utility industry, then in corporate computer companies. I've been here for a long time. I've seen lots of guys with dreams come, and lots of guys with dreams go. I've had stock in every company from Intel to Adobe to Apple to on through. And there's something that separates. You know, guys who are driving fucking Lambos and guys who are telling me sad stories over coffee as they try to get their new hustle on. And I tell you what separates them: endurance. Endurance, right? You really need to. You know what? You know what? At one point, one of my friends said to me, he said, "You know what? I'm not a religious man, but if I was a religious man, I would tell you one thing, Eugene. God loves you." And I go, what are you talking about? Because how many people have lived long enough to see their enemies brought low in front of them? This is like King David-esque. What's happened with you and your enemies? And I was like, well, The reality of it is the only reason that there was a payoff is because I'm that guy in the casino who's urinating in the change cup. I'm not walking away from this machine until it fucking pays out. I'm staying here until it pays. I'm riding it right to the end. I made one mistake in Silicon Valley. One mistake. It's like, you've heard me, don't Donna Shalala me on my own show. You've heard me talk about the venture capital guy, private equity guy who I know. The guy's multi-gazillionaire, right? I said, well, man, hey, is there anything that you passed on that just killed you? And the guy gets this haunted look. It's like Carnival of Souls. If you haven't seen that movie, fucking see it. Carnival of Souls. Great movie from the 50s. Now I think maybe there was a remake. Don't see the remake. Carnival of Souls. He gets that look, that Carnival of Souls look on his face. Then he goes, yeah, YouTube. And I go, well, what happened with YouTube? He's like, man, it didn't make any sense to me. Why would I want to watch your fucking home videos? I sent them packet. Yeah. Uh-huh. I made one mistake in the Valley, and that mistake was leaving Apple to go to fucking Adobe. Because I, like many outsiders, thought companies started by old hippies, interchangeable. Not true. I watched Adobe's stock price languish. Had they finally moved my positions off of it. It's like, it's not going to pay out. Intel, not going to pay out. Who remembers a Pentium? Nobody. Not going to pay out. When Andy Grove left is when my money should have left. But endurance is key. Endurance is, you get people who, and it's usually an earmark of youth. I got moves to make. I'll tell you a guy I know very specifically. It's like, I'm avoiding surgery. I'm avoiding surgery. I'm avoiding surgery. And his training 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, once a week, once every 2 weeks. And finally figures, I'm going to get the fucking surgery. I said, why not? Kung Lee fucking split my leg in half. They said, oh, it'll take you 6 months. It took me 6 months in the cast, 6 months to learn how to walk again, and 6 months beyond that to get to where I could run, sprint, and take cuts on the leg and strikes to the leg. That's a year and a half. It's a year and a half of not training. But you know what? The doctor said those magic words that made all kinds of sense to me. Crippled for life. Crippled for life. You don't do this, you will be crippled for life. What's 18 months against life? If you are in the UFC and you are a fighter, you got to start following the smart money on this. You got to start following the smart money on this. And the problem is knowing who the smart money is. Just because a guy drives up to the fucking arena in a luxury car doesn't mean it's smart money. GSP is making all kinds of fucking mistakes. All kinds of mistakes. Verdum, all kinds of mistakes. Yes, the Reebok deal is shitty. Tweeting out Reebok can suck my balls, I'm a Nike guy, fucking stupid. It's stupid. It's not enduring. There's a line that we call him Lieutenant Getaway. You might more affectionately, we know him as Henry Rollins, who said, sang once, I won't take, I won't break. I told myself years ago, how long am I going to keep doing music? I'm going to keep doing music till I've bypassed all of my enemies. And here for the first time, you can hear it. It's been confirmed. They haven't announced yet. I'll announce it here. Keep it to yourselves. Oxbow is playing 2017 Roadburn in Rotterdam. Big festival, annual festival. Zoo is playing, lot of bands, a lot of great bands. How do we get here where they're calling us and throwing thousands of dollars for us to play? It wasn't 15 years ago that we were playing in clubs in front of 3 people. In fact, if we played at San Francisco on a Sunday night, we still might get 3 people. Endurance. And you might, think about that scene from Pulp Fiction. Pride hurts. Pride hurt. In a long enough time, surgery on your knee might hurt. Or in my other friend's case, his shoulder and his neck. It might hurt, but at least in 18 months, you will be back to training. Why don't you talk to Rampage and think some of the, look, there's some guys, Ally Aquinta, who was a don't care, who moved to a care, a great fighter, a fighter who we like. He said something super perceptive. And what he said is, I'm in the top 10 of fighters, my division, top 10. Easily. I can't afford to eat. If I was top 10 real estate, I would be set for life. And these are persuasive arguments. I've heard them all, and you're all 100% right. Ally Aquinta is right. Anderson Silva is right. Jose Aldo is right. You're disrespectful. You got to get your head out of that. You know, I was having sex with this woman once. Yeah, just one time. And she answers her phone, and she looks at the phone, and she's very upset. Or maybe not very upset, but there's something that passes on her face, and I can tell something's happened. And I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, you know, my boyfriend hacked my email. So he's very upset right now. And he's in the phone as he's calling and he's texting. He's upset. And I'm kind of listening to that. And eventually, this thought appears in my head. It's like Athena jumping from the head of Zeus. And the thought is, he's overreacting. Now, I told a friend of mine that story later, and he laughed when I got that line because I guess he thought I was joking. And I understand when emotions are involved, you know, you might be prone to be upset about this or that or that or this. I need you to think strategically. There's a guy, I send my kids all these stories. He's breaking up with his girlfriend. This guy barely graduated from high school. His girlfriend was going on to some PhD program in Princeton. Clearly, this was a short-term deal. He was a multiple felon. Doesn't matter to me that she was African-American and he was white. This is immaterial. Even though when I read a story like that, of course, like everybody else in America, I want to get a racial fix. Oh, it's an attempted rape. Oh, my God. Please don't let him be a black guy. It's terrible no matter how you cut it for the victim. But, you know, I don't want something that confirms a negative narrative about my tribe. Or very more specifically, just me. So I'll just stay away from that story. And the environment is not right for, you know, a close personal associate of mine telling people, oh, Eugene's a rapist. And he subsequently was revealed that he was the rapist. How do you like that? How that woman told me this story is haunted by this story. He told me that you were the creepy rapist, and he ended up being the creepy rapist who subsequently raped me. I mean, I consented, so technically it wasn't rape, but it felt that way. How do you like the guy's trying to put salt in my game ends up being, that's a perfect fox in the hen house deal. But that's not the point. The point is, you know, you got to start thinking strategically about this kind of stuff. Yes, these guys are all right. Iaquinta's right. Anderson Silva's right. But pride fucking hurts. You know what? Anderson Silva, you got busted with penis pills. Penis pills. Step outside. Step away from that fucking pride. You're just going to get hurt. Okay? Because your wife sure as fuck knows you don't need penis pills. So why you got them? Who are you trying to impress with 5 fucking kids, however many kids you got? Jose Aldo, you got knocked out in 13 seconds. Step away from that fucking pride. I'm sure, you know, I said, can a bad messenger sometimes fuck with the message? Like the Donald. Yes, sometimes. Sometimes a bad messenger can really fuck up the message, but it doesn't change the fact that sometimes you got to hear that message. You may not like where it's coming from, but the message is fundamentally a good message. You know, Hitler had to send a message. Hitler sent the message that we've gotten for all of time. After you vanquish an enemy, it is best to help that enemy. You kick somebody's ass, you help them up from the floor. Not because you're a nice guy, but because it causes belli. You want to remove that. Just take that off the table. The inevitable future resentments that'll come. People in the American South are still kind of irked. Still a little bit irked about the fucking Civil War. "2000 Maniacs." Yeah, the South will rise again. Herschel Gordon Lewis, great movie. You come down to Vegas. Oh, they treat you like shit. They go, and then suddenly there's the tumbleweed, the whisper of tumbleweeds through an empty landscape. Because of smart money. It sucks to be Iaquinta. Man, I got my head beaten and I trained my heart out. But this, well, he's made the right move. Iaquinta has taken a two-step that serves him well. You know why? I'll tell you very specifically why. College football players of some minor note will they'll play all through college, which means they get their colleges paid for. I had guys, I'll just talk about it right now, Jeff Deaton, Stanford, 80 to 84, 2 years outside. He played for the Jets and some other team. I don't know. 2 years, 3 years. I thought he was making big money back then. He was like making $250,000 a year. I was like, oh, hot diggity dog. Well, it was. In 1985, my annual salary was $18,000. Yeah. How's that feel? So I thought he was making big money. I thought, man, that guy never have to work again. I see his name all around town because he's a commercial real estate guy. Why? Why do all these football players go to commercial real estate guys? Because it's the same audience. It's the same audience. If you don't think he's got up in his office, like some of the chiropractic guys I know, you got pictures of him from his playing days on the wall, and they can talk about Bill Walsh and Steve Young and Joe Montana and the heyday of the 49ers and all these, Roger Craig. Oh, it's just Rogers around here, and they all slap each other on the back. It's a natural two-step. Somehow it's a natural fit. Very few players do make that two-step and wash out. The guy went to Stanford with Doug Rogers. He was a commercial real estate guy, rented a second story, first floor office, second story to a heavy equipment manufacturer. Why is that funny? Well, it was built into the side of a hill so that the heavy equipment guys could just drive right in. And he thought this was a great idea. He said, did you check the load bearing? You got like 10-ton fucking vehicles over offices with people and laptops. What are you doing? It's like, oh yeah, maybe I should have switched them around. They're not always the best. So with a little bit of renown he gets from the MMA, the mixed martial arts, he can maybe invest in a school with Chris Weidman, and at this point turn his attention to real estate. And he's got pictures of him on whatever celebrities he cozied up to during the time in the UFC. It's not a long-term career. You know, like the Lord Dunsany in the Improbable Adventure of Three Literary Men, where these guys set off to, not even really guys, they're creatures, set off to steal the world's greatest poems. They actually go to the house at the end of the world, they escape with the poems, and then suddenly the eye of God opens. And they got to like think of what to do. One guy attempts to flee. One guy attempts to hide. That's me. And one, who was Dunsany lauded as the smartest, jumps off of the edge of the earth where he's probably still falling today. By which I mean, Al Iaquinta made the perfect choice for Al Iaquinta. He's like, look, I'm number 9, I'm number 10. Where the fuck am I in this rank? What is needed, I know. Get my psycho monograph. I have a complete and total understanding that what it takes to get to where I need to be is I can't come home from a day training at the gym and look at my wife and my kids saying, I need this, I need that, and I can't afford it. That shit is out. Sorry. Or like, who was that AKA fighter who was on one of the early seasons, black cat, biracial, just moved. His wife got a good job and he moved to Houston. Bobby Southworth. And Bobby Southworth said, I'll tell you what fame is. Fame is when you're walking up and down the street and everybody knows your name and they want your autograph, but you don't have shit in the bank. Somebody did a great imitation of me the other day. They said, here's a big pile of happiness, and here's Eugene. Where is it? Where is it? And I go, no. You understand, man. They said, my problems are solely financial. I'm in a really wonderful place in life. A really wonderful place. I envy no one. Yes, I'd like to have as much money as Anthony Kiedis, but if money is the common factor, what is it that I need? I need what everybody needs. Everybody needs oxygen. You can't envy one guy who's got more oxygen than the other guy, whatever. I just need it. Need it. Having $70 to light in the bank until tomorrow is the end of the month. October is an unforgiving month with these 31 fucking days. You know, it is a drag. Paycheck to paycheck is a drag. You know, one flat tire away from completely having your month shot to shit. That is a drag. Don't tell, yeah, but I got my health. I've got a wonderful life situation. Envy no one. Just need cash. That's it. Somebody comes in here with a bunch of cash. I rob a bank at a bunch of cash. I'm happy. Ally Acquaintance sits down and thinks, fuck this. This shit is not making me happy. What do I lose? I did what guys dream about. I could just float on. And he did. So you have that category of guys who now say, who now will ultimately, looking at the lay of the land, will say, adios, it's been real. God love you. And there will be no struggle to keep these guys. It's soundly reasoned, no harm, no foul. You know, like Vince Neil said about the guy from Hanoi Rocks who he killed, his career wasn't going too many places anyway. Gotta go. There are a lot of guys in that category. A lot of guys in the Phantom Toll. Like if you've seen Beetlejuice, and then at the end he's in the waiting room, some kind of purgatorial waiting room, and he looks at his number. It's like 9,372,018. He looks up at the board and says, "Now serving number 3." He looks at the guy next to him, has got 4. If you are in the top 10, Anderson Silva, legacy guy, exciting fighter, he could be talked to. Jose Aldo, just sit down and lay it out. Yeah, it's a devil you knew before, but it's a devil with a different master. And he lays it out for him. And Jose leaves happy. Because it like Connor McGee, Mystic Max said, this is not emotions, it's math. And now the Baldwin is saying that Madison Square Garden is breaking all kinds of records for this first UFC event in New York, like legal, big time, with $1,500 fucking bleacher seats. We can just sit down and play it out. And this is what happens, you know, like it or not, entertainment industry, this is what, why do you think I'm sitting here? Why do you think I'm sitting here with a 20-cent check from SPE Corporate Services? You know what that is? Let me see if I can find the rest of it. Well, you know what it's from. It's from Leonard Part 6. It is very specifically from Leonard Part 6. All right? That's it. Leonard Part 6, baby. It's a machinery, and the machinery works wonders. It's not magic, you know. They can tell, okay, Inferno opens up, the Tom Hanks movie. It did close to $100 million in foreign sales because Tom Hanks is huge here. How'd they know? Well, why do we give a fuck about over Germany? What? They love Tom Hanks over there. Open it there. Then he's on Saturday Night Live, grease the skids to open it in America. They go, well, it's disappointing in America, but it's still closing in $43 million. It's math. It's not emotions. It's not math. It's math. It's based on emotions. In a general sense, you have good feelings about Tom Hanks. His Q rating is pretty high. You want to go see Tom Hanks. That's, you sit down with somebody with those green and white sheets and you open them out. You say, this is the deal. Except if you're a number 10 on the list, You don't get that kind of service. You get, well, stick around. Maybe things will change. Maybe things will cook you. I mean, the reality of it is fame is fucking capricious. And that's really what we're talking about. People like getting upset. Well, tournament style funky Ben Askren's out there like, hey, look at me. Entertainment, man. Tyson said it best. I could sell out Madison Square Garden jerking off. And he could have. So you're going to have this category of fighters who's like, well, you know, I got to take a real good look at you. I got to take a real good look at your face. And what I see is, realistically speaking, I don't belong here. No, I'm here and I got it. From a sporting perspective, I've earned my way. I'm probably better than 97-8% of other martial artists working the planet, but it's not a job that I'm working. And I'm too old to be chasing a dream. How do you know when you're too old? When you got kids. You know what money lets you do when you have a kid? It lets you choose the schools that your kid goes to. The Israeli guy who lived down the street told me, you got the best schools ever in Palo Alto. Why you send your kids to that expensive private school where Robin Williams' kids go and the Michelle Pfeiffer's kids go? And I said, you know why? Because unlike you, I don't want my kids to see fucking gang fights at lunchtime where girls are stomping each other, calling them fucking bitches in the schoolyard in front of my 10, 11-year-old daughter. Don't need it. Pay the money. But if you don't have that money to pay, you shrug your shoulders and go, oh, well. I mean, when you look at something like Syria, you know, every day that you read about something Syria, you go, oh my God, that's terrible. That's a generation of kids who are not going to school. They didn't go to school yesterday. They didn't go to school today. They don't even go to school tomorrow. And I'm not one of these people that go, oh, moaning and groaning about Syria. Syria is seriously sick. 5 fucking civil wars happening at once. There is no way we can help. Absolutely no. And I hear some of the rebels saying, America's let us down. Go, hey, America? How many countries did you have to walk by before you got to fucking America? Sorry. You know, I don't know what the, you know, sometimes you got to just quarantine people off, let the disease run its course, and eventually go back and tend to the survivors, because right now it does not pay to get involved. Sorry. So Ally Quinta, and there's going to be a whole raft of guys who will do some serious fucking soul searching. You know why they have to do serious soul searching? Because this shit's not a meritocracy. And there are ways, if you have eyes to see, there are ways to see stuff that you should. Fedor and Bellator is talking about Fedor and Matt Mitrione. Come on. Come on. Is that where you want to end up? Remember when we said Lost Battalion against we have a Lost Battalion against a Phantom Toll Booth? And people said, well, there have been a lot of those. Yeah, but we didn't really think about that, about what that feels like. Fedor retires and he comes out. You know, he's not feeling like Michael Jordan when he came out of retirement, who was maybe motivated by a little of some measure of boredom. No, this shit is dire. At the point you are now, you have to decide, I am going to sacrifice my life in total for this. And you got to be really scathingly honest with yourself about it. Or step the fuck on, because you're not going to help. And nobody's going to help you. It's not, God helps those who help themselves. Nah. I don't know where you heard that shit. I don't know where you think you are. So they got to Jose, they got to Anderson, they got to a bunch of other guys. But they're guys, I'll mention a name to you, Rampage. And right now, I guarantee you, 62% of you going like, oh yeah. Yeah, whatever happened to that guy? Where the fuck is he? Does he even fight for the UFC anymore? Or is he back at Bellator where he made the zig and the zag? Played yourself. Had the gift of the gab. People love his fight style, and time caught up to him. He just didn't make it. He's like a football player from 1976 looking at the guys playing in 1980 driving Rolls Royces. And it hurts. But if you were in the top 5 right now, hold it down. Make enough noise, make enough joyful noise so that it's known that you're still out there. But not a less than joyful noise when you're just a pain in the ass. You're a pain in the ass. I got a rental unit. I had a guy renting in the rental unit, kicked the guy out just recently. And finally he said, well, I thought you said that if I did this and I did that to you. I said, Ray, I'm not happy. He goes, okay, that's it then. I go, that's it. This is a guy who's like, the window won't close. I rush home from work, close the window. He goes, well, I'm no carpenter. The sink is leaking. I rush home from work and go back and turn the sink on the water flow and I look at I don't see anything leaking there. Well, I'm no plumber. You're getting all the wrong kind of attention from me, man. Yeah, I put 10 G's into this thing. Seems pretty good to me. I would live here if you weren't living here. Hey, cold. Put on a sweater. The guy had been in the joint a bunch of years. I guess he was used to dealing with prison guards. No fucking prison guard. This is the time where you got to dig down deep and you're in or you're fucking out. And that's it. You know, you got the Brazilian guy, the UFC guy, the front office guys who are being fired. And like, you know, Ariel is like, oh man, I needed some of my friends. And they go, wait a second. It's a premier organization. Are these premier guys? Well, what percentage of them are premier? 100% of them premier guys? Or 95? How much? 75? 60? 60%? 50? How many of them are premier guys? Well, we got the company. All you did to get the company to where it was sold for $4.2 billion, and now it turns out that's slightly less. All you do for $4.2 billion is keep the lights on and keep people showing up. And okay, so back to the mailbag. So now this guy he's concerned about the changes. See, I got it in my head. So there's a segue. He goes, this just has such a foreboding sense. They need people to care about the product. And right now it's McGregor and who gives a shit. By which he means it's McGregor and who gives a shit? Everybody else. Not a lot of fight fans like there were in 2007 and 2010. There's people that watch McGregor, people that watch Ronda, but not a lot of people that watch MMA. That's going to change. And what I say in response is I think they hired those guys pre-sale to get to post-sale. But very rare, you know, everybody talks about Tesla. Elon Musk, he's like the new Tony Stark. That's not his company. Tesla's not his fucking company. Do your history, your research. Martin Eberhard started that fucking company. Martin Eberhard was hustled out that door 86 a decade ago. Taken over by a guy with cash and a lot of cash and a little bit of vision. The people that bring you to the prom are not often the ones that get to do the fucking. Which is what I say. He goes, I get that they didn't buy it to make it worse, but I think they grotesquely underestimated how damaged the UFC brand is. Yeah, could be, but their loan has earnings before initial tax requirements year by year. Not a lot of time to rebuild. Could be a thing where they take it through bankruptcy and bring it out the other side, a better product. Not like the Fertittas are unfamiliar with that business model. He says, but they somehow got to find an extra 50 mil in profit somewhere. Then another 70 mil after that in 2018. They can operate it under bankruptcy. Just a chance to clear some debt, let go of some obligations. Obligations, I guess, defined as bald, roided up ones with bad cocaine habits. I don't know. I don't know who he's talking about. In the short term, I think this means that we're getting big fights. Honda and Cyborg, Jones and DC2, Johnny Boney Joni at heavyweight if he beats DC, maybe McGregor and GSP or Nick Diaz. Either they find the next big draw, McGee is the hotness for the next 4 years, or they take it through bankruptcy in 2019, or they have some crazy IPO scam. And I think any of those, let me see, he rounds out the thought. Wait. No, he's done. Any of those are distinct possibilities, but those numbers are not crazy numbers. They're not crazy numbers at all. And there's some people like, oh, the foreboding he gets is because they're cranking down the Ultimate Fighter, right? They're cranking down the Ultimate Fighter. Let me tell you, very few shows go beyond 5 years. And certainly reality shows are completely different. They've gone longer, but that thing wasn't long for the world anyway. It wasn't long. I've been saying for months, years, that you got to look for another type of farm team. Another farm team has got to be happening, because this other thing is not. Building this brand where you've got like stars galore. And what do you think this means with promotional tie-ins? Any place you're liable to see one of the new investors is a place you're now liable to see MMA fighters. Super Bowl halftime? Why not? Throwing out the first pitch? Why not? That's already happened. And they've realized something very specifically, like Hollywood realizes. You don't have just Tom Cruise. You got Tom Cruise, you got Matt Damon, you got a lot of people who could fill that space. Of course, going back to the mailbag. I hate to do this with the rumors. You guys stuck through the show this long. I was right last time. I think I'm right this time. Johnny Boney Joni. His name is coming up on my radar again. And this is not cool. He's one of those guys that I don't need to hear from, don't need to hear about, don't need to hear anything. I just need you to hold it down. That's all. Okay. Let's see. I'll just read you what he says. I can't even read it. I can't even read it. I can't even read what the rumors are saying. The rumors are that, okay, I'll cover something. Very specifically, that he is abiding by his conditions of his probation. He's taking Uber everywhere. You think that means he's holding it down in other ways? Like he's taking Uber home, and he's taking Uber to the gym, and he's taking Uber to dinner, and then home? That's not what it means. He's hanging out with the guys, the penis pill guys at the mini mart. I'm not saying going to strip clubs makes a guy a bad guy. His wife might feel differently. His live-in lady might feel differently. I don't know. I myself have never enjoyed strip clubs for their intended purpose. I've been in them, but I've been in them more as a performer. Let me correct that. I don't mean I've been in the strip. I identify with strippers as stage performers. So if I was dating a stripper, I was in the strip club. Or if I was interviewing a stripper, like when I interviewed Kitten Natividad, look her up. She's a Russ Meyer, former Russ Meyer actress. I believe she's still alive. She's like, I'm going to be dancing. Come on by, then we'll go out to dinner. Boom. Somebody would come up and you're sitting there waiting. Said, yeah, you want a lap dance? I said, nah, I just cleaned my pants. I'm here with Kitten. No thanks. In other words, I'm not a mark. I'm not here. You could rub your ass on my frottage on my clothed penis. There would be no effect. I'm not fucking 15. Not going to happen. So good luck to you. Good luck. I know you got to make your money. I think they breed impotency. I think guys go to strip clubs for other guys. so we can bond in this moment together. Guys who are really into fucking, they go to whorehouses. Much better, much better. That none of those places don't breed impotency. They distorted sexual ideas, but whatever. Sometimes it's what I've gone down a rabbit hole. Yes, I have. The point is, very specifically, why am I hearing this? I don't live in New Mexico. I don't live in Albuquerque. I'm an MMA fan. Why am I hearing this about Johnny Boney Joni? Why am I hearing about possible USADA violations that are non-performance enhancing? It's just a rumor mill. It's just a rumor mill. But, you know, nothing good is coming out of that mini mart. I got a photo of the guy who runs the mini mart, taken by one of the spies. Say, this is the mini mart. This is the guy who runs the mini mart. Here they are at a dinner. You know, it's a Spartan lifestyle, but hey, yo, bro. It's called being a professional athlete. Be it. Professional athlete. I mean, the one benefit is that WME, I think they're pretty sterling and august characters in regards to looking the other way. Oh, Woody Allen's got a new movie out. Let's just look the other way. Somebody's texted me, any Pettis car fire theory rumors? Did his car catch on fire? So who's asking me about Ali Abdelaziz? I can't cover it all, my friends. And plus, I didn't watch the clip. I can't watch Richard. I can't do it before the show's over now. I gotta watch it after. I should have. You sent it to me before, but I've been preoccupied. Why am I hearing about Johnny Boney Joni? You heard it here first. But you know, now WME, the adept, that he should be thanking God it was him, because the bald one and the old crew, like I said, they'll keep the bald one on. But I gotta tell you, if you think he's in high-level meetings, he's in high-level meetings for like the first half, and then they all get quiet and look at him, and he says, well, that's my presentation. They go, great, thanks, Baldwin. He's like, great. And he's looking around the room waiting for somebody else to start talking. They go, so we'll just call you, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. And he starts folding up his stuff and gets the fuck out so the adults can work. Yeah, it's that way. It is that way. So not everybody's Johnny Boney Joni. GSP is discovering he's not even Johnny Boney Joni. Why? Where the fuck is his Q rating? You come in here ranting and raving, and you know what? You got nothing. You got nothing. You are nothing. And that's not just a bald one talking. That's somebody who's looking at the Q ratings. Yeah, you were in that movie playing the Savant guy. I used to know my comic books better. Good. Whatever. You're still a creative artist. You don't fuck what happens to you. So if you are a fighter and you're listening to this, hold on. If you're in the top 20 and you can invest 2 more years in doing this, invest the time. It'll be worth it. If you don't, you'll be sitting around like that guy who mowed my lawn for $20 who used to play in the NBA. Played in the fucking NBA in the early 70s, mowing my lawn for $20. I guarantee you, that guy's had some rough time. If you threw him a ball and we got out in the basketball court, he could start whip my head all over that court. I guarantee you. But he was mowing my lawn for $20. And that was back in the 80s. You got to hold it down. You got to, if you're there, or Iaquinta, you got to, do I attempt to run and hide? Do I attempt to flee, or do I jump off the edge of the world? Iaquinta made the decision, I'm out. Pulling the ripcord over the side, I'm done. Thanks. Because I know where this road leads for me. Right now, this road leads nowhere for me. And I don't even get the sponsorship money. Nobody's offering me some color commentating gigs. It's nowhere. It's got no future. The Baldwin was right. I got no future here. Go. It's not bad, not good. You got to think about you. There are lots of guys in that category. Look at, like in Miller's Crossing, look into your soul. and figure out if you're one of those guys. The smart guys are starting to do stuff. You want to know a smart guy? Gegard. He's realizing, I've been quiet for fucking too long. I started talking smack about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor threatened to pull a knife on me. I'm not afraid of that guy. I'll beat his head in. But, I understand he's got to do what he's got to do with his little game. Let him talk. I'll be over here winning belts. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, shit, dude, I love that dude for so long. He's got a personality. He's got some edge to him. I knew he had edge because he's fucking Dutch. I was watching some training video where he's online, where he's training with somebody. Or I think he's training with Honda. And he was like clowning her in the way that I would have been clowning her if I was training. I would say Sorrow Academy is like a fucking pirate ship. You want some chill? Go join a youth group. It's not here. Yo, I'm sticking my finger up your nose, elbow in the eye, whatever. Smother in the chest. If you're tapping, don't tap to it. What can I say? You will leave that place tough or broken. That's it. So get out. Get the fuck out now. Get out. Get out. You want to make some money? You want to spend your last 2 years making some middling money? Not too challenging. Get TV a little bit. Take it easy. Go to Bellator. Finish out your career there. Make your plan B. Work on a plan B. Open up your school, personal training. Do like Michael Thomas Brown, friend of Knuckle Up. See him in the cornering guys. Want to make my living in or out of there, something. But hoping to wait around for the WME gods to kiss you, that's not going to happen. If you're that's if you're like 10 to 20. If you're champion to 10, you got a different set of circumstances. You got to hang on, be smart, because it's possible to be a 9 and be in the Phantom toll booth. Just a toll booth, just sitting around looking at your little numbers on a sheet of paper. Number 9, got it. Now serving number. It wasn't too long ago that Stipe Miocic was a number 9, a number 8. Got called up. Got called the fuck up. Speaking of which, people like now with this whole Hillary and the emails, it's like, stop. You know what Hillary needs to do? She needs to have a press conference and go, you know what? You guys have been at this shit forever, right? From Vince Foster and Whitewater to this. You're trying to, you've been playing this, and they've been able to get the Clintons every time because the Clintons address every slight. In that way, they're very similar to the Donald. They address every slight. Instead of, at one point, a friend of mine a guy I know had his guitar stolen. He's a musician, had his guitar stolen. And he's at a show, and he looks up on stage, and 8 months later, the band that he's seeing, a friend of mine, is playing guitar in the band, and he's playing that stolen guitar. Now, my friend's band is really successful. They're playing all on tour in South America now. So he waits by the backstage area, gets in, and says, hey, man, hey, actually, you're playing my guitar. It was stolen about 8 months ago. And my friend looks at him and goes, and? It's like, I didn't steal it. I bought it. If I bought it from somebody who stole it from you, that's your bad luck. It's my fucking guitar now. I can give you the name and the address of the guy who sold it to me, but you're not getting your guitar back. Not from me. It's not my fault. And so you got to hang out. You got to hang. So I'm sorry. If you're Hillary, at a certain point, I go, emails. Fuck your emails. George W. Bush had 2 million emails, and I'm not answering every one of these things. You guys been at me for 20 fucking years. You got nothing. You are nothing. You got nothing. Kiss my fat ass. I'm going to leave this country while the rest of you are fucking around. And once she takes office, there was an object lesson learned. I know Obama's a different type of guy. Came in, tried to play nice with those guys, but you know what? Sorry. Fuck you guys. You're not about compromise. You're just like on the sane apocalyptic thing. I'm done. If I got the numbers, I'm going. And now, last week, I've not been secret about my political preferences. I got with one of the purple belts at Sorrell's. We got a piece up at Ozzy.com right now he and I are squaring off on the mat, and he's pro Trump and I'm pro sanity. And somebody was like in the comments, "Oh, Eugene, I love you, but you're so wrong in this Trump thing." I'm not fucking wrong. I'm sorry, man. Look, I've said it before, and I blamed small penises on World War II. Joy Behar came out with a survey that said the smallest penises in the world belong to men from two countries: men from Japan, men from Germany. Now, I've seen Japanese condoms. Not a joke. Not funny. Not funny. There's a reason they pixelate penises on Japanese porn. Now, I told some other woman that. She goes, "I fucked many a German guy and they had big cocks." This is just a generalization. And the aggressors, Axis powers during World War II, Germans and Japanese, and then some wag will always go, "Well, what about the Italians?" The Italians made piss poor fucking fascists. They were not motivated by penis issues. So no serious academic has touched this, and I don't have the time, but I guarantee you there's something to it. Because whether it was the Nazis and they were chasing Jews in 1944 in the Netherlands, it was a massive undertaking. At a time when they needed resources to fight multiple battles on multiple fronts, they were dedicating it to the extirpation of European Jewry. It's fucking crazy. It's like making a sandwich while you're trying to get through an MMA match. And whether it's the Germans and this kind of crypto kind of weird sex thing with Jews and Jewish penises, or the Japanese and the systematic rape of China, Nanking's, if you read June Chang's, I know it's been people that have problems with June Chang's book about Mao. I think she did the book on the rape of Nanking as well. Both good reads, despite maybe problems, but there were always sexual undertones. Rape is an instrument of war. So I'm gonna have to say it. Sorry, commenters. Hey, it's just a theory. But I gotta say, and you know, the guy who's in the piece, Marty, I love you, but I've not come up with a new theory, and that new theory is male Trump supporters have problems with their penises. I don't know what the problems are. I don't know if it's a signifier that the penises are too small. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. Or you're so deep down that rabbit hole, you're like, "Oh, I can't believe there are lots of women that say he's perfectly okay." I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Hang around the barbershop long enough, you're gonna get a haircut. Birds of a feather flock together. Lay down with dog, get up with fleas. Use whatever you want. There are other political reasons. Says, I just like his policies. He's not articulated a single policy other than wall and jobs back to America. And those are proto policies. They're not policies. Because if you have policies, you could have a policy paper wherein you lay these things out. That doesn't exist. You want somebody winging it with your fucking economic future. Well, it's better than trusting that crook. Oh, crook. Just saying it so doesn't make it so. Well, it's out and out corruption. What? Show me. So, well, that's all I'm doing. Your level of proof. Look, the guy's unfit. The guy is fucking unfit. I need things to stay good for 8 more years in America. At the very least, 4. You don't think it makes a difference? I almost lost everything under George W. Bush. I'm not taking these chances anymore. No. While guys who vote for Trump can 4 years from now, if he wins, feign ignorance and go, it was terrible. Dude, who would vote for that lunatic? Well, you did. Did I? Nah. No smoking rubble, no Berlin 1945. Fuck that. The point is the same. The point is exactly the same. You want to win in the new UFC? Make a joyful noise, stick around, get that Q rating up. And if you're not going to do that, pull an ally Quinta, yank that ripcord, and jump off the edge of the earth because you got no future. I had a girlfriend once who was upbraiding me about what is our future. I was being pretty patient, and she's like bird dogging me about this and that and this and that and this and that. And then finally she says, well, what about our future? And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Started screaming. Future! Future! We have no future! I have no future! There's no future! That relationship is. It wasn't so much that I was screaming in anger, but it was just like, wow, you put me in this position. You know, I'm trying to be nice, and the person, it's like moving the piece here, and they block you. You move the piece there, and they block you. Move the piece. You're just not getting it. Like, you throw the board on the floor. You know what works best with me in such situations like that? Realpolitik. And that's what I think the bald one gave to Jose Aldo and, Anderson Silva and all of the recalcitrant guys who make a difference outside of GSP who fuck them. You don't go in and you give some mumbly pig thing about I don't know where I'm going to, I got to find myself. And I go, okay, man, you know what? It's like Daniel Craig. I would rather kill myself than do another James Bond. Oh, you do realize this is like $100 million $200, $300 million franchise, right? That you just shit on in the middle of a press tour for a movie that has yet to open. Are you fucking stupid? Go. Do all the other movies that you are waiting for. GSP, go to Bellator, WSOF, KSW, anybody who will have you. Oh, nobody wants you. Okay, shut the fuck up. You're making life hard for us. Now they're talking about Daniel Craig possibly being the next Bond. Yeah, because what other scripts are there? You only hurt you. By impatience is its own fucking enemy. You know how many people I've outlasted? Do you know how many people I've outlasted? And guys who have outlasted will come back to me. Hey, Yuji, we should jam together. Or maybe our bands could play a show together. Or maybe we could. And you know what I say when they say that? I go, yeah, maybe you're right. Or maybe you're right. Yeah. While you were goofing off, I was playing shows in front of 3 people. Go fuck yourself. So the bald one, self-correcting problem. Short-term solution to a long-term problem. Long-term solution to a short-term problem. So one of the two. One of the two. But in a couple of weeks, and if you don't think everything, the entire world is on hold for this election, you're wrong. In a couple of weeks, if we but blench, we know our course. Very different business attack if the casino owner is the president of the United States, and not necessarily a good one. For MMA, probably good. If it's Hillary, for MMA, insignificant. They'll just have to work hard. But those guys are going to work hard anyway, right? So later on this week, we got If I Did It. And I don't remember if there's a fight next weekend. You would know better than I would. I apparently missed a registration deadline for the No-Gi Worlds. So I wrote them a pleading letter because I know there's only one guy in my unlimited division. And he and I should get and he's coming all the way from Arizona. And they probably want to give him a fight. So I'm trying to beg my way in right now. Sent the email. Like, I won the U.S. Open a few weeks ago. So I'm losing weight now again. I can feel it going down. I'm probably about 225, but I'm still going to go unlimited because I don't feel like losing the 3 pounds. And there's nobody in that division anyway. So, yeah, let's get to that point where I'm just showing up and getting medals. I actually need to chase guys to get some kind of fights out of it. But I don't know if there's a fight next week, but I do know there's If I Did It. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's at Eugene S. Robinson. S stands for Sardonicus. So this is the end of round number 291. 291. November is almost here. Who's texting me? No, this is somebody on Instagram. All right, so I think the show's over. And there'll be more shows like this. You let me know. Actually, I need some sort of consideration. Those of you who stayed this long, right before I ended, I'm sorry I'm going on so long. Let me know. Are you enjoying the shows that are affianced to fights? In other words, should I only do a show if there's a fight, if it's post facto to a fight that was just had? Or do you, because I have a distinct sense of what should happen and what I like to do and what I want to do. But given that I only have a few more shows left, you know what I mean. I want to hear how to make them the best way possible. So if you, or like Pretty Amberg said, why don't you put a gun in your mouth and see how many times you can pull the trigger? I got it. All right. So do you like them only affianced to fights, or are you okay with them being on off-fight weekends? That's all I'm asking. Because stuff happens in that week that from a fight perspective, the other dummies are not even touching. They're not even touching. Not even touching, which we covered right here. We talk about winning, losing, getting it done, what you need to do to stay if you want to stay. And if you don't want to stay, if you're not over that 51%, get the fuck out. Get out, get out, get out. Because you got hungry guys who need to eat underneath you. And that's what needs to happen. Not through the TV show either. What, Ultimate Fighter? They're going to lower the price. You're going to keep it won't limp along. It's not going to go any further than it did before. It'll still be a farm team, but it's not the big money maker. Why? Because they're bigger money makers. Anyway, round number 291. I'm your host, Eugene S. Robinson. We'll see you soon at Eugene S. Robinson. It'll be, if I did, in a couple days, me, Alexi, Kid Nate. Look it up. Subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you can. We'll see you soon. Look what you made me do!